Hello students, welcome to today's lecture. Now in today's lecture we'll begin with unit number 4, that's a baseband signal encoding. In previous units we have discussed about the different types of encoding techniques used in a digital communication. Now in this unit we are going to study about the baseband signal encoding, that is one of the modulation techniques mostly used in a digital communication. The topic which we are going to discuss today is a pulse code modulation. In the course content of unit number 4, the course outcome of unit number 4 is analyze the impact and the limitations of a baseband modulation techniques. The Bloom's taxonomy level for this particular CO is 4 and the PO mappings are 1, 2, PSO1 and PSO2. Contents of unit number 4, the block diagram of digital communication system, digital versus analog communication system, PCM generation and reconstruction, delta modulation, adaptive delta modulation, DPCM. Last topic is a basic line codes. Now the learning objectives of this particular lectures are the block diagram. We are going to discuss about the block diagram of a digital communication system, then the difference between digital and the analog communication, PCM generation and the reconstruction, and lastly the noise present in a PCM. Block diagram of digital communication system. Now this diagram of the block diagram of communication system we have already seen in unit number 1 or the beginning of the syllabus. So the blocks, what are the different blocks present in a digital communication system? The blocks are source encoder, channel encoder, then we are having a modulator. After modulator the signal is given to the channel, after channel it is given to the demodulator, then to the channel decoder, source decoder and the information sink. Now the difference between typical diagram of any communication system and the digital communication systems are the addition of a source encoder and the channel encoder. These two blocks are the additional blocks which are present in a digital communication, and that adds the advantages to the digital communication system. Now we are going to discuss each and every block in a detail. What is a source encoder block? So this block represents the transmitted data more efficiently and removes the redundancy information. Now how it is going to do this? So how we are going to write versus write. Now that these two words indicates the same. If you pronounce them, they will indicate the same value, but here we have removing the W word, so therefore it will remove the redundancy, and in this way this is a job of doing the source encoder. Now the speech signal frequency and the human ear can hear up to 20 kilohertz. There are two types of encoding: lossless data compression encoding, and that can be recovered without any missing information, and next one is a lossy data compression without encoding. So here the smaller data of a size and the data removed in encoding cannot be recovered again. So these two are the types of encoding which are present in a source encoder. Next one is the channel encoder. So what the channel encoder will do? Its job is to control the noise and to detect and to correct the error that can occur in a transmitted data due to the noise. Then the next block is a modulator. Represent the data in the form to make it compatible with the channel is a job of a modulator. So in modulator, basically the input signal is added with the carrier that is of a higher frequency signal. Then next block is a demodulator. It removes the carrier. The demodulator is the first block in the receiver section. So what the demodulator will do? It will remove the signal carrier and reverse the process of a modulation. Then we are having a channel decoder. Channel decoder detects and corrects the error in the signal gained from the channel. And last one is a source decoder. It will decompress the data into its original format. So this all are the job of each and every block of a digital communication system. Now the question arises, why should we go for a digital communication? The first one is ease of regeneration. Now the pulses which we are transferring in the digital communications are in the forms of zeros and one, and easy to use repeaters. Second one is the noise immunity. Now the digital communication system has a better noise handling when using repeater repeats the original signal. It doesn't repeat the noise, it will just repeats the original signal. Therefore it is having a better noise immunity and ease to differentiate between the values either 1 and 0. Next is ease of transmission. Now the data which we are transferring through the digital communication is having a less error. The data or the communication is a faster and it is having a better productivity. Ease of multiplexing. Multiplexing means we are transferring multiple signal over a same channel simultaneously. So with the help of digital communication, it is very easy to transfer several signals simultaneously. Then use of modern technologies. So the cost of digital communication is less, and ease of encryption. Now the security and the privacy guarantee is there, handles most of the encryption techniques. So if you're transferring the data using digital communication system, the security and the privacy are more compared to the analog communications. Disadvantages. So the major disadvantage of digital transmission is that it requires a greater transmission bandwidth or a channel bandwidth to communicate the same information in the digital format as compared to the analog format. Another disadvantage of digital transmission is that digital detection requires system synchronization, whereas analog system doesn't require such synchronization. Now, digital versus analog. So here, what are the difference? Now we are going to just discuss about some difference of digital and analog communication. Analog communication system is a technology which uses analog signal for the transmission of information. Digital communication is a technique which uses digital signal for the transmission of information. It gets affected by noise. It is having a better immunity for noise and distortion. Error probability is high due to parallel. Low probability in the error probability is low in digital communication. Hardware is complicated and less flexible than the digital system. Hardware is flexible and less complicated than the analog system. It is having a low cost. The cost of digital communication is high compared to the analog communication. Low bandwidth is required. It requires a higher bandwidth. Then the high power requirement is needed for the analog. It requires a low power, less portable as compared to the as a component are heavy, more portable due to compact equipments. Amplitude and analog modulations are the type. Here the PCM, DPCM are the types of digital communication. Analog signals can be represented by the sine wave. Digital signal is represented by the square wave. Consists of continuous value, consists of a discrete values. Analog signals compares of voice, sound, etc. Digital signals are used in computers. Then the PCM. So what is PCM? PCM stands for the pulse code modulation. Is a method it is used to convert the analog signal into the digital signal so that a modified analog signal can be transmitted through the digital communication network. PCM is a binary form so that there will be only two possible states, either high or a low. Now the PCM technique or the PCM process is done in a 3 steps, that is a sampling, quantization and the encoding are the 3 steps which are used in a PCM. Now what is a PCM or the pulse code modulation? To get a pulse code modulated waveform from the analog waveform at the transmitter end of a communication system, the amplitude of the analog signal samples at a regular time interval. That's the first step, sampling. The sampling rate or the number of samples per second is several times the maximum frequency. Then the message signal is converted into the binary form will be usually in the number or the level, which is always to the power of 2. This process is called as a quantization, and once the quantization is done at the receive, we are to each quantized level we are assigning a particular bit, and that is called as a encoding. The block diagram of PCM. So the PCM signal consists of 3 basic blocks: sampling, quantizing, quantizer or encoding. The job are sampling, quantizing and the encoding. Now if your input signal is given to the sampling, so we are having analog signal which is given as an input to the sampling. Now what the sampling will do? Sampling will perform the sample. So we are having 2 types of sampling: natural sampling and the flat top sampling. What's the principle? So after sampling we are getting only, so this continuous time signals is converted into the discrete time signal with the help of a sampling. So after sampling, this signal is given to the quantization. The job of quantization is a rounding off. So what this quantizer will do? It will round off the nearby samples to the one level. So we are getting the output like this. This is a quantized output, and from the quantizer output it is given to the encoder. The encoder will convert each quantizer level signal into a digital values. So suppose this is your first level, so all values which are present in the quantized levels are converted into 1 1. So the output of encoder is a digital data. So in this way is the working principle of a PCM. Now we are going to discuss about each and every block in a detail. So first block is a sampling. Sampling is a process of measuring the amplitude of a continuous time signal at a discrete time instant. Now the sampling frequency Fs is the number of average samples that are present and known as a sampling rate. According to the Nyquist theorem, the sampling rate should be at least twice the times the cutoff frequency, that is the Fs should be greater than twice Fm to avoid the aliasing effect. If the sampling frequency is very higher than the Nyquist rate, it becomes oversampling. Theoretically, the bandwidth limit signal can be reconstructed if the sample is above the Nyquist rate. Basically, we are having 2 types of sampling, that is a natural sampling and a flat top sampling. So once we are getting a sample signal, our next block is a quantization. Now the quantization is a process of rounding off. So what we do in a quantization, so here I have given you the diagram. So what the quantization is made up of. So in quantization is done by dividing the range of possible analog value into some different level. So here we have divided the level. So we started from this -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have divided the given amplitude of an input signal into several levels and assigning a center value to each level. So each level is assigned with the center value. So this is going to be the center value. The outer line represents the center value, okay, to the each level of the sampling. So what how it is going to do approximation. So this is my input signal I have given. I have taken the samples. So this red line indicates, or the red dots indicates the samples. So what it will do. So just take an example over here. This is your first line, 2 and 3, and in between these two lines we are having two samples. First sample is this one is my second sample. So what it will do, it will round off these two samples to a level that is the middle line. So that is a job of a quantization. Okay, it will, and that lines are called as a quantized level actually. So what we do, whatever values are present in 2 and 3, in between 2 and 3, they all are round off or to quantize to the middle value, that is to the quantized level. And to each quantized level we have assigned one encoded value. So whatever samples are present in between, if you are having 2 number of sample, 3 number, whatever samples are present over here, they all are quantized to the level that is given by 2.2768 over here, and for that particular the assigned digit is 110, that is your PCM code word. So if you observe, for this two we are getting the same value, that is a 110 and 110. Now for the next, which is in the range of 2 to 3, is assigned with a value of 111. Now again come this second. So this second one is in the range of 3 to 2. So it is assigned with a value of 110. So that is a job of a quantization. It will round off the number of samples present in that particular range. So a range is quantized, or we are just approximating the range. See, from 2 to 3 we are having the value from 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, whatever, up to 3. Whatever values are in between, they all are approximated to a level that is a 2.2762 in this particular condition. So in this way we perform the quantization. So there are two types of quantization, uniform quantization and the non-uniform quantization. So what we do in uniform quantization now? In uniform quantization, the quantization levels are uniformly spaced in term as a uniform quantization. The type of quantization in which the quantization levels are unequally and mostly relation between them is logarithmic is termed as a non-uniform quantizations. Okay, and there are two types of uniform quantization: mid-rise type and the mid-trade type. And the figure is shown over here. So this type of quantization is called as a mid-rise type of quantization. This one is a mid-trade. Mid-rise means what? The riser age of the steps or the samples are present at the origin is called as a mid-riser, and where the trade is present is called as a mid-trade. So this is the second type of uniform quantization, mid-riser and the mid-trader. Then here I have just explained all the concept very clearly, how we are going to get the samples. Here I have shown you the figure. So here Q is equals to 2 raised to n. So how we are going to get the number of level? So Q is equals to 2 raised to n, where Q is equals to number of quantization level and n is equals to number of bits per word. So the number of bits which we needed at the output decides the number of quantization level. So if I want my output to be of 3 bit size, so how many quantization levels are there? We are having 2 raised to 3, that is 8. So here we have taken the example over here. So M0 to M7 are the 8 levels, M0 to M8. Now in between, if you see the dotted line represents the respective quantization levels. Okay, so how we are going to do the sampling? So here I have taken one sine wave, the input signal, and this is the quantized version. So what we do, just pay attention over here. We start from this particular line. Okay, we start from this particular line. Okay, so here what is happening? So your M0, this is my quantized level actually. So the values which are present in between these two dotted lines, this is your dotted lines, is represented by M2. Okay, and the values which are present in between these two dotted lines are represented by M1. So here how it moves actually. So if your samples are between these two dotted line, they all samples are quantized to the level M2, and then if your input signal goes beyond that range, means if your input signal goes beyond this particular dotted line, it will go into the second range, that all are shown by this particular line. So for this particular section here, it is shown by this line. So in this way we perform the quantization. So this line indicates this. See, this flat line is the indication of all values. See, this is your sine wave which is moving. So that if your line is moved from this region to the region, particularly over here, for this particular period of time, it is shown by a straight line. So in this way we perform the quantization. That is, we are not showing the increment or decrement value, a complete range of values. See, the number of values which are present in this particular range over here is represented by one line. We are having a fixed value. In between, how many values are there? They all are represented by this. In between, how many values are there? They all are represented by this. So in this way we perform the quantization, and the number of bits per second is equal to number of samples per second into number of bits per sample. So in this case your sampling frequency is fs and n is the number of bits per second. Therefore the sampling rate of PCM is given by n into fs. Then next is quantization error. For any system during its functioning, there is always a difference between the actual value, the value of input and the output. The difference between an input value and its quantized level is called as a quantization error. So this portion where there is a difference is called as a quantization error. Encoding. The encoder encodes a quantized sample. Each quantized sample is encoded into the 8-bit code, but by using a ALO in the encoding process. So what this 8-bit indicates, the bit 1 is the most significant bit. It represents the polarity of the samples. Bit number 2, 3, 4 will defines the location of the sample value, and bit number 5, 6, 7, 8 are the least significant bits. It represents one of the segment quantization value. In the PCM transmitter and the receiver, so this is the actual representation of a transmitter receiver. So we are having an analog message signal. It is given to the low pass filter. After low pass filter we are having a sampler, quantizer, encoder. So it will generate your PCM signal. Now this PCM signal is passed through a regenerative repeaters. Its job is to remove the noise and recover the signal back. So in between the channels we are having a various number of regenerative repeaters, and again at the first block of a receiver is also regenerative repeater or the regenerative circuit. Then we are having a decoder to encode the signal or to decode the circuit. Then we are having a reconstruction filter, and then we are having a destination. So in this way we are generating this is a block diagram of a PCM transmitter and the receiver. In transmitter we are doing sampling, quantization and encoding, and the receiver end we are having a decoder, reconstruction filter and the destination. So this is a waveform. The first step is a sampling. So we are taking an input signal. This is my input signal. I have taken the samples. So this samples which I have taken is a flat top sample. So once the samples are done, we go for the quantization. Quantization means approximation. So here how we are doing approximation, this particular line is approximated to the level Q3. Now these two values are present in the same range, therefore they have approximated to the same value. And likewise we are doing the approximation of the samples if the number of samples which are present in a one quantized level are assigned with the one value. So once the quantization is done, our next task is to encoding. So how we perform encoding? This particular level, the value assigned is a 10. For this particular level, the value assigned is a double one. So the same is for the next. Then we are having a 0, 1, 0, 0 and 1, 0. And this is my PCM output. So how I am generating PCM output? This is 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. So in this way I am generating a PCM signal. Basics of PCM. The transmitter section of a PCM modulator consists of the sampling, quantizing and the encoding. Then the basic operation in the receiver sections are the regeneration of the impaired signal recoding and the reconstruction of the quantized pulse train. Then the low pass filter. This filter eliminates the high frequency component present in the analog input signal, which is greater than the highest frequency of the message signal, to avoid the aliasing of a message signal. And then we are having a sampler. It is the technique which helps to collect the sample data at the instantaneous value of a message signal so as to reconstruct the original signal back. Then the quantizer is the next block. The job of a quantizer is to reduce the excessive bit and conferring the data. The sample value when given to the quantizer reduces the redundancy bit and compresses the value. Encoder. The digitization of an analog signal is done by the encoder. This is the next block of a transmitter. And then at the receiver we are having a first block, that's the reconstruction filter. After the digital to analog conversion is done by the regenerative circuit, the decoder low pass filter is employed, called as a reconstruction filter, is to get back the original signal back. Then we are having the compounding is one of the important process which take place in a PCM. So what is a compounding in a PCM? The compounding is combination of a compression and the expanding, which is mean that it is doing both the things. So why we go for the compounding? Compounding is used to remove the effect of noise and the crosstalk. Okay. So there are two types of compounding. There are A-law compounding and the Mu-law compounding. A-law compounding is a uniform quantization is achieved at A is equals to 1, where the characteristics of a curve is a linear and non-compression is done. A-law has a mid-rise at the origin. A-law compounding is used in the PCM telephone system. Mu-law compounding is a technique which is having a mu is equals to 0. It has a mid-thread at the origin, and the Mu-law compounding is used for the speech and the music system. This is a block of a compounding. So compounding compression is done at the transmitter, and at the receiver we are doing the expansion. So this is the block diagram of a compressor and the expansion. The job of a compounder and the expansion is to remove the noise. At the higher frequencies, this compression will compress the frequency, or this will compress the signal, and again at the receiver, as the signals get compressed at the transmitter, we have to expand the signal at the receiver. So that is the exactly opposite which we are doing at the receiver end. Advantages of a PCM. So PCM are convenient for the long distance communication. It has a higher transmission efficiency. It has a higher noise immunity. Disadvantages: it requires a larger bandwidth as compared to the analog system. Encoding, decoding, quantization circuit of a PCMs are very complex. Application of PCM: the PCMs are used in the satellite transmission system. Then it is used in the space communication. It is also used in the telephony. The compact disc is a recent application of a PCM where we are using a PCM technology. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to my video.